This AskReddit user asks, "What's the dumbest thing you've ever been afraid of as a child?" Tapeworms. As a child I asked my parents why it was so itchy down there. After learning the horrific truth I was so terrified that I held in a mega duche for hours. The most painful screening of Air Force One I have ever had the displeasure of enduring. Edit. Pinworms. They told you it was itchy because of tapeworms? Not because you didn't wipe well enough? Maybe they meant pinworms, which is an actual itch-causing machine. When I was younger, maybe 10, I was talking ST on RuneScape and somebody said they reported me. I turned off the PC, the internet and disconnected my phone. I was scared there'd be cops at the door. Hand dryers in public bathrooms and the toilet flushing. Michael Jackson. My sister told me he was a demon. The Thriller video FD up a generation. I'm over 50 and to this day never ever dangle any of my limbs over the edge of the bed because I am convinced something evil lives under the bed. And no matter where I've lived. This has been the case since I was 5 and not only watched the Evil Doll episode in Trilogy of Terror, but also was terrified by the tiny people who lived in the walls in 1973's Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Quote, Wonder Woman spinning and changing. Thought a huge human-sized panda was waiting for me up the stairs of this two-story apartment. My aunt lived on the bottom floor where the entrance was. I was like 4, but whenever we walked past I got a bad feeling. Aren't pandas bigger than people? Also your fear isn't too bad. They've killed people. Yeah, you're right, I've been watching too many baby panda videos but I pictured them walking like a human and taking me lol. ISTU not. Flowers. So. When I was kid I was absolutely sure I put this green pea snap on a table and saw it crawling. I refused to eat it. Thinking it was a bag of bugs pretending to be dead so you would be tricked to eat it. Yes. 4-year-old me was dumb. It was when I was in my teens that I found out my old nanny brought me to her boyfriend's place when my parents were out. And while they would do it next door, they would give some kind of medicine to knock me out, apparently. I picked up a pea cracker in the midst of passing out and hallucinated about it. It was also why my nanny got fired not long after. What the FK? What the FK? What the FK? My sister is 6 years older than me and my twin. When we were 5-ish she told us she was secretly a witch and she needed to eat children to survive. I thought you meant the same sister was both 6 years older and your twin, haha. Without a doubt the sharks and alligators swimming up the bath drain and into my bath waters. The old lady with the gun from Ratatouille. In this vein, Ursula from The Little Mermaid. BH was terrifying and kinda vulgar for a Disney villain. She was modeled after Divine. Which is probably why I loved her and also an early clue that I was gay as FK. Same. I was afraid I could kill people with my thoughts. Apropos of nothing. Except maybe my mildly Catholic upbringing. I decided if I didn't pray every night to every religious figure I could think of. I had a really long list I'd memorized. Oh my god. I was so neurotic. Somehow the universe would know and my loved ones would die. I was about 7. It was around the time where you make first confession and communion. So I guess I'd caught religion. I got over it after about a year. The bookshelf. The man at the bottom of the stairs. I've never seen his spooky ass. But I know he chases me up every time. That some BH has been chasing me up the stairs for 35 years. I presume you fine gentlemen ALS do the 4-legged staircase run? Always. Never put fragile items in the basement. Always old sheets and ST. That way if you need something, when you get to the stairs you can launch them to the top and crawl your ass up. The best friend of my dad. Honestly he is such a funny, amazing and nice person and I was literally crying and screaming while running away. Same here. Man. I was terrified as a kid after I had a nightmare about him driving me and my sister around in his convertible. Which actually happened. I was afraid of being in the cars my uncle drove when we'd go outside the city. Now I'd love to do it again because a few times they were cars his boss let him borrow and were pretty cool. I was slightly terrified of one of my mom's best friends. She's a very, outing and kinda overly friendly person. Like one of those aunts that's like, "Where's my hug and kiss?" and gives you big puppy eyes while holding her purse and wearing dated clothes and makeup. Big personality type. Me, being a small kid who was none of those things, found her scary. To this day I'm still kinda scared because whenever she sees me, once every few years, she rushes me for a hug. She's toned down a bit as she's gotten older, but I don't know many people with big personalities like her. Leaving my closet door open at night. Chickens. Santa Claus. Nothing scary than an old man coming down the chimney of little kids and giving the presents. Pressure cookers. Pressure cookers still, and always will scare me. I used to be more scared of them, but Instant Pots make me feel a little more at ease. That's a quite rational fear actually. I was afraid of long, dark corridors, mainly because I couldn't see what would kill me. Now hear me out. I was also afraid of lit, long corridors, maybe because I would be able to see what would kill me. When I lock the toilet cabine it won't open anymore and I have to stay there forever. Haven't done it until middle school, and yes, that leads to many embarrassing moments. Used to have the same fear. Once when I was little, I locked myself in a bathroom in an embassy to take a dump. Little did I know that the lock was stiff. So when I went to open it I couldn't. I was scared shitless. Until my dad came and unlocked the door from the outside. After that I was scared to lock the door for a few years. So I pretty much never did. Then I became a strong boy and realized that I could easily open it. The letters PF on the microwave after a power outage. At 5, I was afraid that if people talked ST about the wind it would send a tornado to kill them. One time my dad said, "Damn, it's so windy," and I was like, "Dad, no." Quote, "Why am I laughing so much? Happy Cake Day." I remember I got scared once after challenging the rain. It was raining quite heavily. I went to my balcony, stared at the rain for a few minutes, and said, "Is that all you got?" out loud. It actually rained harder with strong winds that it broke off a branch from a tree next to my house. Right after I said it, I cried and apologized profusely to the rain. Edit. Position. I used to have a recurring nightmare about a vampire parrot that we kept as a pet for some reason. In my dream, it was a family pet, and we just kept him in a cage, hanging from the ceiling in the hall. It was just a regular-looking parrot, totally unassuming. My family believed it was just a cute, feathery, colorful critter, but nobody else realized it would feed on me. When they couldn't see it, it would steal my blood. When I cried to my parents, they refused to believe me. Nobody believed me. Here's the thing, it didn't bite me to drain my blood. It hooked me up to an IV and drained my blood directly into its little bird body. I don't actually know how it managed to do this. There would be some twist of dream logic and suddenly it was just happening. In the dream, I would be sitting in a chair, IV attached, blood draining into the evil bird. My parents might even be standing right there. I would cry and cry because he's taking too much of my blood. Mommy, he's going to kill me. It was all happening right in front of them. But they would just tell me to stop making things up. It's like they couldn't see the dark transfer unfolding right in front of them. And the bird knew. I never actually had a parrot as a pet. He only existed in my dreams. But he popped in to have his feast every week or so. For a significant period of my 3-year-old life. Polyvan to suck your bloody. This reminded me of when I was little. I heard my grandfather talking about some chupacabra creature. So I asked what it was. He explained it was a dog-like animal that went around sucking other animals' blood out. He obviously knew it wasn't real, despite the news saying there were sightings of it. I became absolutely terrified that a chupacabra was going to smash through my window and suck all my blood out. My parents had to calm me down every night for a while after that. What the FK? Question mark. The witch in Snow White. Especially when she's cackling and going into a cellar and all you can see is her eyes. Balloons. Specifically, balloons popping. When I was really young, my dad popped one near my face as a joke. But it really traumatized me. I hated going to birthday parties because there were always games where you had to pop a balloon in some form. I eventually grew out of it. But even now at 32 I still feel a bit uneasy when I hear that sound. Me too. I remember going to a party and crying because they had the pop the balloon game and I didn't want to. I was okay with other kids popping theirs, so long as it wasn't too close to me. But no way I was going to pop one. In the end, the mother of the party gently snipped the neck of mine so it deflated slowly. In the end, the mother of the party gently snipped the neck of mine so it deflated slowly. That's sweet. I'm still scared of balloons now. My fear started when my uncle popped one near my head as a joke when I was like 4, and ever since I've had a huge fear of them. If they're going to be anywhere near me, I can't be there. It's ruined so many birthday parties for me. You know the sound a dove and pigeon makes? I used to think they were ghosts. I thought my parents were lying to me about it being birds. I would run back into the house if I heard one sing. My grandmother once told me that mourning doves will only coo to people who are about to die. She learned that some tall tales are not appropriate for kids after the existential panic attack 2 weeks later. My brothers convinced me that Jaws and other sharks would be attracted to my red life jacket and made me terrified of jumping into the water. The water of a freshwater lake. Getting shocked if I tried to plug in an electrical appliance. I was afraid of grass for a long time. But particularly male clover. I don't know why. Edit. Can't find a picture of male clover. But they were thin strands of bumps with like little seeds you could rip off effortlessly. Not harmful plants at all. You were afraid of grass. Like genuine fear? You weren't just grossed out by it? The shark in the pool. The shark in my pool was going to come out of the light in the deep end. That's where pool sharks live. Was also very afraid of the pool light. But never associated it with sharks. I'm not sure what I thought was going to happen. But it was going to be bad. I always thought my foot would get stuck in and I would drown. A fish. Still afraid though. And I don't have any explainable reasons why. I was afraid of Charlie Chaplin. All his movies used to creep me out. Just seeing his pic for some reason filled me with fear. Shots, vaccinations. I was convinced that my veins were already full of blood. And injecting any more liquid into them would cause them to explode. I wonder how easy it would be to convince an anti-vaxxer that this was true. Just make a factual-looking meme about it. Post it on a popular anti-vaxxer FB page and watch it go viral. Bonus points if you make a YT post with fake credentials. Probably will get buried, but the game over screens from Snood for the Game Boy Advance used to freak me out. Looking at it now, it still makes me slightly uncomfortable. The Heffalumps and Woozles song from Winnie the Pooh. I dunno, that one is still kinda scary, and I am 32 lol. Me too. OMG, this brought back something I forgot about. I was terrified of the movie with Mickey Mouse as a wizard. Fantasia, I think. Scarred me for life, and it was buried deep until now. I was terrified of mustard as a kid. My dad convinced me that he would turn into a goldfish at night and turn back into a human in the morning. The red lights from cell towers. They always look so scary at night. Especially on a foggy night when you can kinda see them. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos.